Hey, what's up? This is Neil. I'm going to do this quick drawing here real quick. I'm going to use ink brush the entire time so that it shows up well, because some of my students were talking about how it doesn't show up well for them. I'll go the eye line here, put the nose right at the bottom of the circle, mouth fits somewhere around there. I like putting the mouth in first, that way when you carve in the jaw around it, it fits well. Let's do this middle line, come all the way down to about where the crotch will be, something like that. Kind of getting this basic shape here for rib cage, come up like this. You can usually just take this line and just follow it down, and that's going to give you this kind of structure here. And then we're going to come up like this with this kind of underwear shape here. Like this. And this will be your love handles. The leg can continue down that way. Part of the butt might be visible there. You have this dent right here, so it's important. And you can kind of imagine where the breast line will be, somewhere around there. I like to kind of go like this. Kind of just put the shape in there like that. Boom. Alright, looking good. You can imagine the latissimus dorsi right there. Then I like to just put on a circle here, kind of imagine it going up. Like that. Boom. The hands will probably be somewhere around this way. We're going to have the hand going into here. Just have some basic idea. Something like that. Have some hair down here. We can kind of just draw a straight line here to that. From here to here. And there like that. That gives us the basic idea. I make this arm a little thicker. Come with this shape. This will be a t-shirt. Boom, like this. Come down here. Go big with it. Something like that. Now some of this I'm not going to be able to, some of the details I want to do I'm not going to be able to do, but you can see the final version on my DeviantArt, which is far more sexy than what I'm allowed to do here on, did I just make that mark? Okay. On YouTube. Alright, now I'm going to do another layer, and let's go ahead and start going with details with the black. And we can start with the eyes. It's about here. We'll make a shape kind of like that. Kind of like that kind of angle. Put this shape up here. It's the eye. It's where the eyelid retracts into. For Caucasians at least. For some Asian people it might be a little way lower, and then it kind of connects to the corner. Something like that. Pull that hair. I'm going to kind of round this out a little bit like that, and then we'll come down with the chin. Make the jaw a little bit lower. Right up there. I like to have that, make sure I have enough space here for the chin. With your lips and everything. You can kind of just come up with a shape like that for now. And come back in, maybe start adding some detail after all this is in. Top lip kind of looks like an M. The most important part though, go dark here, is this middle line right here. Boom. I like that kind of shape for the middle line. And then they'll come down for the bottom lip, something like that. So that reason why I like to do the line where the bottom of the eye, basically close to where the bottom of the eye is going to be. Just something basic like that. For sketches, you don't have to get too this is even going into detail, honestly. Because the purpose of a sketch is to get everything down for the final version. Whether that's going to be a painting or that's going to be a drawing. The sketch is just there to serve that final thing that you're going to be doing. And oftentimes, the purpose of the sketch was because you can sketch quickly, but you can't paint quickly. You can do like quick studies, like quick color studies and things like that. Probably go down like this, at the t-shirt, like this. Make this kind of line. Maybe have the hair come that way, and then the other part of the t-shirt right here. This is basically the t-shirt collar, something like that. We're gonna come out here with the hair kind of wild. Anyway, so when people would paint and stuff, if they had someone, they would use references, right? So if they had someone, sitting in, well, they couldn't just sit there and paint the entire time always, because like the person gets tired, right? It's hard to have the person just sit there the entire time you're painting. And so what they would do is do a quick sketch. Like, all right, let's do the top of the head here first. Go like that. Bam. And so basically they put a line here. They would do quick sketches, and the sketches would capture a lot of the details that they needed when the person's gone. And they can sit there and they can work on those aspects until the person can come back again and work on more details. Right? Because you can get a lot done with the sketch. Let's have this hair go all the way down like this. Bam, something like that. Hope I didn't go too far there. If I did, I can always erase it. The idea here is that I don't want it to have like a contingent line, because if this were to come and connect to that, then you have this contingency here where you have a tangent, not a contingency, a tangent line, where the two lines just pretty much meet together. You kind of want to always have something going over something else. That's not a good line. Maybe, actually. Kind of roll the shirt over more, have the hair in there. Yeah, that's fine. And so sometimes just show like the thickness of an outfit. You can go like this, kind of tuck in here, and then come really like that. Boom. That kind of shows a little bit of the thickness, that there's a material there. Like that, see? We'll come down here, like this, and then boom. Something like that. Have the belly button be somewhere around there. So imagine there's probably going to be like that. Kind of imagine where the nipple's going to be here. I already have like over here, kind of. Yeah, something like that. My line's garbage. Let's do it again. There we go. Sometimes it's good to angle. You can also angle the actual image itself. Like you can flip the whole canvas and then you can reset it. I forget the shortcut keys to do that, but sometimes that comes in handy. So I think that is good. Just want to get the major details down. So the elbow would be right about here. And then you'd have that flesh coming like that. Boom. What I'm thinking about doing is getting the manga, what are they called? When they're making manga comics, they have this thing they use, like different textures. And with the computer, it's really easy to use those because you can just put them on their own layer, then you can use a mask, and then you can hide it, and then you could reveal it where you want it to be, so it kind of paints that texture where you want it. I might actually download some of those really quickly, so I don't have to come in here and do stuff like that, because it just takes so long. And for a sketch, it's It's not a good use of time. Try not to get carried away with all the details and little lines. I'm kind of just wanting to get the main bulk of this. And then I can come back in and do smaller, thinner lines. Also, you notice how I have my pin set up. I probably should get rid of this, but I have it set to, see I have the size not all the way down, so there's a little bit of gap. I move it to the right a little bit. I don't know if you can see that, but it's so it doesn't get, when I go as small as I can and as big as I can, there's not as much of a change. Sometimes it's good to even make it less than that. Focus on how a real pin works. You know, I probably don't need to put these in, but I'm going to. And I have to be careful with the detail I add here because, yeah, YouTube algorithm and stuff. I'm thinking if we have something like this and then have a hair like that, a hair like this, that might be enough actually. I might end back another hair, but we'll just go like this, something like that. Maybe have some spaces in here where the hairs are like overflowing, you know? Comics do that oftentimes. So I think once you have that going for you, then you're good to go. Then you can start doing like smaller little details here and there inside. Sometimes I like to use, like, just to have a guide. Like, let's say I want a wrinkle right here, for example. Boom, I can go like that. You can always mark with an X to know that, hey, I want to color that in solid. Something like this, and like just like thin line like that. All that's going to be like shadows, you know, for example. You can come in, you can have a thin line here. Now this is going to be a wet t-shirt, so the thing with wet t-shirts is that I'm just going to put some lines here. Some of them might be too thin to show up, but maybe I can make them show up by putting in I can go download what I was talking about really quick, those patterns. I think Clip Studio has them built right in, so that way you don't have to download anything. I could open Clip Studio actually, just use that, but this is what I have for right now. It's already open, so maybe another shadow here, one here because the head's going to be kind of blocking it, and then you have like a kind of darker form shadow there. One's a cast shadow, and the other one is a form shadow. Actually, I don't like that line. Just that's enough. Up here you can do like, you know, little squigglies like this to kind of show the hairline right here. So there's going to be some skin color there and kind of blend the skin and the hair. And then maybe some shadows in that area. You could have some highlights. It's usually better to do those later anyway. Kind of have a maybe a shadow there. Like you can have some shadows here, here, and they're going to kind of go down, right? And you can change how you want that to be. Like if I was doing it with lines, you can go dark, 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 and then get gradually that if you want to just remind what that's going to look like. You can also use, you know, different kinds of textures. I'll show you that in a second. You know, just kind of want to have a shadow come right about here like that. Actually, no, it should come all the way there, have that whole part, and like that will be. Do some little lines and things for like where the highlights would be. There'd be a shadow there. That whole side of the face is going to be shadow. The piece of hair there. Something like that. Maybe have some dark parts in here just to kind of show some hair texture. Might be some more over here as well. Let's just go, actually, I'm going to have it more like this. Maybe have it continue. This will be a casting from the shirt onto her body, and then going right into the form shadow, which will get lighter as it goes across. Maybe some more form shadow here, down there. Add some little shape here. And then all of this right here will be shadow as well. And maybe a little bit right here to kind of show the highlight right here. This will kind of show this shape here. The love handle. It's got that three-dimensionality to it. And maybe there's a little bit of highlight right here somewhere on the leg. I'm thinking that looks pretty good. So I'm just going to quickly look for some manga halftones. So they kind of work like this. Here's a halftone right here, and then I can, think about where I want this to be. So maybe I want to show some lighter texture here for the shirt, for the skin. I can put that there. I can also take this whole thing and make it bigger, or make my image smaller. Either one. Working kind of big, so something like that. We can also turn that down a little bit, like so. And then all you do is on this layers, you won't be able to see this, but I click the mask, and then I'm going to hide it by paint bucket black, and then I use white to bring it out. I'm going to use like this brush here, or the pencil brush, or you can use the pen brush too, but this allows you to have a little bit of control. So if I just wanted a little bit of that to be here, I can do that. If I use the ink brush, it gives me a little more control like that, but I can't make it how light or dark I want. I can always come back after you paint this in nicely. I think that will be a little bit of skin. So the basic idea is that where the shirt is touching the skin, that's going to show a little bit of skin tone. And where the shirt is not touching, it's going to have more of the, like if there's a wrinkle or something, right? Like imagine there's like wrinkles coming off of here. And where those wrinkles are, it's going to be the shirt color. And it's going to be more lighter color. And when a shirt gets wet, it gets a little bit darker and more saturated. And so I can represent that as well. Right now I'm just using this texture to mark kind of like where some of the skin texture and tones are. I think maybe there's some more here, just kind of show a little bit of the nipple. Again, I think this is fine for you too, because I'm not doing too much detail. So then I want a darker color for all that. But now I can dip my brush like this that has a little bit pen pressure control, turn it down to like halfway to like a gray. And now when I come in here, I can kind of, well, actually, let's go black. I can just erase. Now I can just erase where I don't want it, because I don't want it to be totally solid like that. Kind of fades a little bit at the edges sometimes. There we go. Right, and you can just do that to add quick. See, when you view it from a distance, it's like, hey, that looks pretty good. And that's where you're going to be viewing it online anyway, about that size, or maybe about that size. That adds a little bit of that texture. And I can take that same texture because I can duplicate it. Oops. Oh, wait, is that it? No, hold on. Okay, there we go. Actually, it doesn't matter. I'll just paste it again because it's the last thing I copied. Is it? And that's not working. Alright, well, I'll just go and copy it again. You can also grab different textures as well. Like for the shirt texture, I'm actually thinking about using a different texture for the shirt. And so you just go look for, you won't be able to see what I'm looking at right now, but I can find different textures here. So there's the dot ones, and then there's the ones that are, have different textures. Let me see. I had one earlier I thought it'd be really cool, but I'm not sure what happened to it. So I opened Manga Studio just to find out that they don't offer for free the basic materials anymore. and I couldn't find them. Like, it's kind of stupid. The store is really retarded. Alright, so we can also just lay down some color like this if you don't want it to be a solid tone. You can also just put down a solid tone and then mask that. Or you can put a tone down like this and then mask it. And then we can bring that out with white. I like to, bring it where it's going to be first. So let's say we want some here. This will be, I'm going to be using this for the shirt, let's say. Everywhere, I'll put this, make sure it's underneath the, there we go. Making sure it's underneath. This will be the t-shirt. Right, you can just come in and you can just fill that in really fast where you want to have this kind of shadowing. Doesn't have to be perfect, especially when it's just a sketch. You just want to make sure that it overall looks the way you want it to. Let's say this right here, because there's going to be some drop shadow inside the sleeve. And see, it adds a nice kind of texture. Then you go like down to black, and you can take this and just kind of erase part of it, maybe add a little bit of right here like that. So fun little things you can do. You can also go like this. I can put that in a darker color. You can double it over, make another. You can use this exact same texture and just make it go right over it and put on multiply or something. Oops, I was going to show you another trick. You can go like that and then just fill it in. So you can just like think about the areas that you want filled in, just kind of outline them like this. Maybe this will come all the way to here like that and kind of blend in with that. Fill that in. Yeah, something like that. And then say we wanted a part here as well. And so we want all this filled in also. Like this. And then we can lower the opacity of that. Oh no, we can't. Wrong one. Here we go. Lower the opacity of that. Oh, that's the wrong layer. This layer. Right, because we just want like the t-shirt design. Then we can duplicate that layer if you want and like that and set it to multiply, for example. And then you could go ahead and fully get rid of that layer for a second. Oops, I'm on the wrong thing. There we go. For some reason it wasn't just going through. Duplicate it without the mask on it. And then we can just take the parts we want to have extra darkness, like here, maybe here, here, for example. And what's cool about doing it this way is I can come in, no, maybe not there. Right here though. Right, then I can take this, go to black, and watch this. Just kind of get rid of some of it and kind of blend the edges because you don't want it to be such a hard transition. And there you go. So you can do different textures like that just to kind of remind you kind of what's going to be dark and what's not. For her hair texture, you can come in with like find a really dark halftone or whatever. You can buy halftone packs, or you can just use a color, solid color. So you can just fill this whole thing in the solid color and then mask it. Masking is nice because if you mess up, it's easy to go back over. Or you can just fill it in, whatever. Let's say we wanted kind of a dark color like this. Make a new layer. Mask it. That gets rid of it, and then come over here. And let's say I just want to, I'm not going to do this whole thing, by the way, but let's say I just want to show the parts that I want really dark. These parts, for example. And I can make another layer underneath this, and that will be maybe a little bit less dark of a color. Right, but this will just remind me, it's okay, let's come in here and add this dark. And this is really, again, just to remind you of what it is. It's going to be dark, or you can put the X's in it. You can do some lines even in it. That's actually a pretty dark shadow. Well, actually, that's just shadow. I don't think that would be that dark, but I can come back in and change it. So I wanted all this dark, that dark. Doing this very, very quick. Actually, I wasn't have that be light, I think, so yeah, I can go like this, a lighter color, but you get the idea. And you can also just start, outlining stuff here. Come back in like this. And then another thing you do too, if you want to save time, is I do this oftentimes. What I'll do is I'll do the initial drawing, and I'll do it where all the lines connect. And I'll sometimes just use a regular pen that has all the same size, no pressure sensitivity on it. And that way I can just go ahead and come in and draw a bunch of things, or draw everything and make sure everything connects, that all the lines connect. There's nothing like just open. Then I duplicate that layer, and then on the one that's underneath it, I fill in with the paint bucket really fast. I'll show an example of that really fast. I'm going to just duplicate the line layer real quick. Some of these lines connect, right? Not all of them do, but some of them do. And then I would work on the one underneath that. The reason why that way it doesn't ruin your line work. And let's say I wanted to start doing some basic color stuff. Start filling in some colors here. I can come in here and start filling in colors. That's not all the way through. You just have to make sure that your lines are all covered. And then you can come in and quickly do that. Notice it doesn't mess up the edges. Like, the lines look really nice. Versus if I get rid of that, you see now the lines don't look that good. So that's the line layer on top of like that. And that's just a good thing to put in all your colors, and then you can come back in. I wonder why that, oh, I see, probably the hair. It's going up through the hair and through here. I wish it showed you that, but see that little line right there? And so you have to just go and make sure everything's blocked off and exactly how you want it. And that's a really fast way to block in your color work. It saves a lot of time. But yeah, so that's that. And if you guys want, if I get enough people asking me to show like a basic, okay, that's not gonna work. I don't know why. Wait, where's that going though? Oh, I see. It's a whatever. Anyway, if I get enough people, I can go in. I know why it's on a different layer, but the lines aren't blocked. But anyway, so if I get enough people saying, "Hey, I would like to see you, block that in with the basic colors," and how you might do that, especially since the sketch is not one that lends itself to this perfectly, I'd have to come in and just close up some of the holes here and there. And then maybe I could also show, like, if I were just to try to go in and just start painting it. I like to block in colors, though. It's good. And this is a fast way to kind of block in the colors. You can also do it more sloppily with just like brushes and just get the basic, layout in there. And then you can come in and start working on it just real quickly, I guess. I mean, this video is already so long anyway. And I can also show you how to get really cool kind of variety and stuff. So let's say we're just going to take this basic color. Watch this. See all that variety I got? It's really nice. I have that set up over here in the with all this here, the pressure sensitivity and how much color they go. It's a really cool feature in PaintStorm. It's the software I'm using, just in case anyone's wondering. So you can just kind of come in here and just kind of block in some colors for the skin tone. And I like doing this brush because all those different variety of colors just automatically starts giving a nice painterly look. Let's go a little bit lighter now. We can like paint this and kind of come out like that. Maybe the light's hitting mostly here, and light's hitting here on the nose, for example. Right there more, here just a little bit. Maybe on the cheek, top of the face right here. And this whole side of the face is going to be lighter, so I'm going to I'm going to go in here and just light up this whole side of the face right here. Maybe light up some of the neck here like that. I would take this color, go a little bit like that, a little bit darker, a little bit more saturated. Actually, probably go desaturated, but sometimes I saturate too. Just make that darker like that, where the shadows are going to kind of be. Make it a little bit darker here, underneath the chin. Make it a little bit darker right here in the eyes. And this is how you kind of come in here and just start, laying down the colors. I take a light color here and just add. I'm just doing very lightly, otherwise it would turn white. Add a little bit of blue for her eyes, and so on. A lot darker than that. And that's pretty much it. You just gotta slowly, change your brush size here and there. Grab different colors, slowly just start working this in. Maybe a little bit more shape here. Take that darker color also kind of underneath the eye right there a little bit. Underneath the nose. Then we're going to take this and just add a little bit of shadow here to the side of the nose. Then you can take a more red color, just grab this color, just make it more red. Maybe just make it a little bit like that. You can add just a little bit like that for the cheeks. Kind of over exaggerated at first. Maybe for the ears as well. Yeah, I get the idea. Take the lips, make them a little bit redder, a little bit darker, more saturated. Make the top a little bit darker. Make this a little bit darker, and so on. Eyebrows will be almost black, or probably end up being black. Anyway, add some other colors here and there. So you get the idea, right? You can just come in here and really start going to town. And that'd be kind of how I start blocking in the idea for the colors. Then I can decide like how dark do I want it, how much contrast I want. And if you find yourself doing like I often do, and I just maybe don't have enough contrast, and I just kind of don't work enough different colors, you can take that layer you're working on with the skin tones, for example. Go here to Smart Corrections. And you won't be able to see everything I'm doing over here, but I can move this over here. I can go to contrast, for example. So I can add a little more contrast to everything. I can darken it. Go to here. No. I can add, midtones, darker. Shadows a little bit darker. Not much shadows there at all. Highlights a little bit brighter, like so. You can also adjust the colors and things like that. And then so now when I come back in here, it's a little bit darker, and then I can start lightening some of this up here. So let's say I want most of the lighter part to be right here. It's kind of hitting the side of her head, coming like this. Then it kind of fades as it's coming over here. Kind of take this color and kind of fade it out. And then this shadow here is going to be cooler, more desaturated. The shadows, basically they're cooler, so they're going to be more desaturated. Kind of just desaturate all that shadow side of their face. Like that. And then I'm going to grab this like that. There we go. All I did there is I just kind of took the actually, we can have light hitting the side of the nose here too a little bit. And then actually have the top of the nose be a little bit less. Just a little bit, there we go. I need more brown, there we go. So have the light hit like that, and we'll just kind of lighten this up a little bit. Right between the eyes, and then any more desaturated, darker color for the eyes here. And sometimes, starting with the color that's a little different underneath, it's nice because then it helps you kind of fade that and get your blender tool. You can also blend some of this together. want all this right here to be lighter. Let's go more toward the yellow as well. Trying to think how much lighter I want that. There we go. Grab this color so it's not as light, and all this is going to be pretty lit up, I think. So it's like light all this side of the face up, not underneath the lip, just on the chin. See, like that? That was a little bit of shadow there underneath the lip. Again, all this needs to be desaturated a lot more still, so all this side of the face should be more like this. And in the eye here, this side of the nose is dark, there's a shadow there. Might have a little bit of the, oh, wrong. Well, actually what I'm going to do is just going to grab this, and I'm just going to pull it over to the right a little bit, make it a little more saturated. I know you can't see what I did, but like that. And I can actually take a little bit of this brightness. There we go, and just kind of brighten up a little bit of that side of the face right there, some bounce light. And then this right here is going to have a little bit of shadow all right there. Just kind of going into a little bit. All this would be desaturated as well. I really should have undid that thing I did because I made everything way too. And working like this is nice because this brush kind of adds all these cool colors everywhere. It gives you a good just kind of base to kind of work with. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, and then it's just a matter of you just keep working it until you start to get the structure that you want. I'll add a little bit more cool here. All these colors are just wrong now, so I'm going to kind of just desaturate them a little bit like that. Kind of make it all one tone for now. And you like to gotta start big, then you start, after you start getting all the main colors, and you can't, like, once you realize, hey, you know what, I can't really work it anymore. There's not much else I can do with this, with the brush, right? Like if you realize no matter what you're doing, you're just like moving color around, and you can't really try to take as far as you can basically with a larger brush. And then when you can't take it any further than that, then you come in and start focusing on smaller details. Like that, and then you just then as you work on the smaller details, it all starts kind of coming together. Like I would come in here with a slightly smaller brush, and I can add just a little bit of, right there. That's gonna be like where that little bit of shadow is right there. Go underneath the nose here, it's a little bit redder, like that, and then it's gonna be darker on this side. And a little bit light on this side, and then you eventually come in and you would start removing the removing the line work. That can be like a highlight right there. Add a little bit of light here. Yeah, then you can come in and start removing the line work as you go, or lowering the opacity down and slowly removing it by replacing it with, edges with your paint. You'd have like a hard edge versus a light edge. So I'll show you an example of that. Right here we have this edge, and I can start reducing this. I'll just get rid of it for right now to show what that means. You kind of make a hard edge right here. You just kind of just paint that, and then we'll come like this. That would be like the edge of the nose. And you can kind of blend right here to kind of get rid of that where it's more of a shadow. This right here would be like slightly lighter, and then it would fade off, but then you would cut it like that. And so what that does is it adds that edge right there. And then you can kind of come around here, boom, like this. So you see that? Now we have a nice edge for our nose there. And as you continue to do that everywhere, you can start to build the structure. You're not drawing though. You're adding two colors next to each other that have a contrast, and that creates a hard edge. It's not super hard though, it's not like a pen hard. You can still see there's a lot of different colors, and that makes a painting look interesting and like a painting. Then you can, start adding more detail and smoothing it out and so on. It takes a lot of work is what it does, but the end result is really cool. Or you can get it, as close as you can, and then you can just take it through an AI and have an AI do a very low pass on it, and that just makes everything look super nice. And if I don't like the colors, let's say everything's just like going too pinkish and stuff, I can change that really easily by going back to where I was before. Under filter, smart color correction, and then we can just make everything look a bit more warmer. We can also go here and I can add midtones. Let's go a little bit more red for the midtones. Maybe desaturate it a little bit, like that. Highlights, maybe make it a little bit more yellow. And for shadows, maybe a little bit purplish. And does that desaturate the whole thing or just the shadows? Something like that. Starts looking nice, and you can take this kind of shadow color here and come in here and start adding shadow under here. You can also change it for blocking in. You can do the same thing for your ink pen. So basically make a secondary version of your ink pen that allows you to block everything in with different colors. So you take the ink pen, here's my ink pen, go over here, we would go to these things here and set up brightness and under the pressure sensitivity and randomness and so on. It's really cool. I can maybe show you how to do that. And I would take some of this. See, now I have these more lighter colors here, but I can go like that, go like this, and kind of come down here a little bit. I would want it to be more like that. See, there we go. And come with all that color and kind of fade that. Then come back and reintroduce the cheek and all that kind of stuff. But having this basic colors here first works out nicely. Let's say we want this whole side to be more lighter, more of a contrast between the light and dark. Just kind of lighten all this up. Maybe take that color. And then you can have these two colors working together for the light and dark. So really quickly, just lay down some colors here on another layer. That way I can just pick these colors. Okay, let's kind of add that color there. Maybe take this color, make my brush a little bit smaller. You can kind of add these different tones into here. Then also by just taking this one color, for example, let's say this color here, as I start painting, if I continue to paint over several times, the way I have the brush set up, it lays down kind of random colors and adds some variation to it within it, so it's kind of cool. Let's say I want some more yellow color here. This more yellow color, there we go. I think I have maybe too much variation though. Turn that down just a bit. There we go. Then you'd add this kind of little more saturated line right here, where you have the transition. And then even within here, you can add a bunch of different colors. You can go here, desaturate it, and lighten it a little bit. This would be some bounce light in here. Just coming right in here, and then grab that. Something like that. You can take this here and then make it a little bit darker. We can add just a little line that you can usually see right there a little bit. Take our blender tool, kind of blend it out. And as you continue to work on this, you can, start to build up all those nice colors. This is a nice brush to use too. And then from here, I can kind of think about some other shapes within the shapes. So after you kind of start refining some of this here, this should be really soft though, like that. Like it should just be a slight transition to there we go. Just want it to be a little bit make this a little bit brighter right here. Add just a little bit of brightness right here. And up here we go a little bit darker and more desaturated. We can add a little bit of darkness right up in there. That'd be the belly button. We'll make it darker. And then you can take this color and just make it a little bit darker. And we can start adding this kind of little bit of shape right here. This is shapes within shapes. So you got to think about the, they have this shape here and the shape here from the abs. You got to think about how the light kind of hits that. So it's kind of go like this here. Actually, I want to make that maybe a little more saturated. Yeah, it's a form shadow, so it's be a little bit more saturated. Come down right here like this to here. Just kind of fill that in a little bit. About like that. And then we come over here. And then we take this lighter color. And we're just going to hit the edge right there. So that transition there. That's that nice kind of hard line. You can go a little bit darker right here. Where the belly button's going to be. Just like that. You can also take this lighter color and just hit the other side right here because there's a dip. It goes around. Well, you need a much smaller brush. What happens, you have this darkness in here, so the belly button's going to be really dark. Like that. And then you're going to have this kind of like that. And then you have the light hitting like just right there. So let's go ahead and get rid of all of this. Like that. So the light just kind of hits right about here like that. And maybe go a little bit more brighter and more yellow. Like that. Boom. And you might have a little bit of a line right there. And so the light and dark kind of come together. It's kind of like that. And then I'll just take this color and there you go, kind of blend all that out. Okay, so I know what it's doing is it's taking any color I pick up. It's making it way too pink. I'm trying to figure out which is doing that. There we go. That's still adding some color variation, but not as much. Then you can take our blender tool here and just kind of, these are all brushes that I offer for free at masterpaintingnow.com, so check them out. And honestly, I don't know who's, like there's like three of you that will be watching still. Like literally. And then we can take a really bright color and almost white, kind of just actually even more than that. Right there we go. Maybe another one like right here. And so as you start to, you slowly start to shape it out. Right? You just start thinking about all the shapes, and I can then come out and get a bigger look again. And like there's usually a kind of darkness all right in here like that. A little bit here, but that's going to be more yellowish like this. And then take this lighter color, and we're just going to hit right here, and we're going to hit this side of the, because this is like a round, so it's like a roundness here. We want to just kind of hit the light hitting this side of it a little bit, like that, a little bit like that. Just going to kind of take some of that darker color and just kind of round into here just a little bit like that. See, that starts to add the shapes. And then if you want to get rid of any of these hard lines here, just take your blender, just kind of blend right there. You don't want to get rid of all the lines, but some places you don't want, especially on the inside, just where there's like form shifting and changing. That's where you kind of want to make sure you hit those. I'm going to add this lighter part right back here again. I want it right there, right up next to the shadow too, so it kind of hits like that. And then you can, take like a more sunnier, a little more brown, or go towards yellow rather, and just add a little bit of that in here, kind of like some light coming back into the shadow there a little bit. Maybe over here as well, just like that. And also, if we got rid of those lines like that, we can take this and kind of go like that. That also kind of helps add that shape. And see, without the lines, look at that, we're starting to get some nice painterly looking things going on here. And you don't even have to do it to that level of finish if you want, especially if you leave your line work, but if you don't want to, and this was like really nice, but in the context of, if it was all, it's isolated by itself, looks kind of a little bit strange, but if it was in the context of everything else being colored, it would look a lot cooler in the background and everything. It's always good to also start with like a medium gray background, or at least with your background color. For me, it'd be more of a grayish blue, more of a desaturated green blue color for the background. And I can always add that really quick. So I can go make another layer down here, and I can just kind of grab this kind of greenish blue color, desaturate it. Something about like that, with a lot of different colors in the background. But anyway, so I start adding all that everywhere else. Start adding some of these colors into the face, and eventually you'll get to where you want to be. But what's cool, I'll add that back. What's cool about it is, I was going to say is that, you don't even have to go to this level of detail, right? If you just kind of block in the basic colors, and then get it, or even get it to here a little bit less than this, and then take it into like your stable diffusion or whatever that you like to use. I like Invoke AI. You can then tell it what it is and stuff, or you can just go section by section because it's already so big. So you have to either reduce the size to be able to work with a big area, or if it's already at like 2000 pixels big, I like to work around 2000 pixels big, and then I use AI to upscale to 4000 pixels, and then maybe go in and do some final little detailing if you need to. Just working at 2000 pixels just feels really good, but you can also work at 4000. Anyway, so what you can do then is you can just go into this section here, just grab and just say, this is a belly, and it will, boom, a belly of a female, whatever, and it will take the colors already there, and it'll make it look nicer. And just doing a very low pass, and it just kind of fixes all the stuff up. It kind of keeps the lighting you've already established, but it'll make it look cooler. I could actually show that really fast, but maybe not. All right, I think that might be it. Go ahead and like, subscribe. Oh yeah, maybe I'll show like how to make the shirt look wet. We can go ahead and add. Oh, you know what? I mean, this is already so long anyway. What the hell's the difference, right? So what we can do is we can take a color. I don't know what is it. Oh, let me zoom in here for some reason. I need to get rid of a lot of these layers. Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of a lot of these layers right here. I don't need those anymore. They serve their purpose. So let's say I'm going to add a kind of a grayish color here, something like this. And I'm just going to go right here to show you what I'm talking about. So we'll just kind of add this color all here, like this. All right, so here's our shirt. Kind of what's cool about working with this brush is if you don't push down too hard. Actually, even if you push down as hard as you can, you usually just get some of that undercolor comes through, and that's good. Now I can pick up that undercolor and kind of bring it through for some of my shadows here. So all this right here is going to be like a shadow, like this. And then all this right here is going to be in shadow. I'm going to make it even darker. All this in here. Kind of fade it off to that. Blend those together. What's cool is you can just get it close enough, like I just did right there. And then what you can do is just take your blender brush and boom, boom. It's just called Blender. So if you go to masterpaintnow.com, download my brushes for PaintStorm. please don't ask me if you can use them for other software. They're built specifically for the PaintStorm engine, and it's not very compatible with other things. So it's a really nice engine. I really like it. It's my favorite to paint with, really. All right, so add some darkness there. Blender brush, kind of blend that out a little bit. There you go. And so once you have like some of this basic idea, like where you want some shadows, maybe some here, like that. I think I want some shadow here. And we'll kind of fade some shadow right here. This is going to be shadow, but it's also going to turn into part of the breast. Now it's going to be the shadow part of the breast, where the breast would have been shadowed. This can all be, you know, shadow here from, we can add other colors and stuff, but for now, just do that. Okay, so, yeah, painting just takes time. Lots of time. So that's pretty much, I think, where I want all the shadows to be. Everything else here is going to be like skin tone. So I just grabbed some of my skin tone here. And this is going to be a lighter skin tone, but it's going to be a little bit more darker than that. So right about there, I'm just lightly going over it so I can add a basic skin tone here. And all right here, you're going to see part of it go like that, and then it's going to kind of fade into shirt. And we'll add a lighter color in a second. Right here. I go see a little bit here. Pretty much wherever the skin, just imagine where the skin is going to be touching the shirt more. That's where you're going to see more of the skin tone. I'm pressing lighter as I come out here because I want it to kind of fade. I can actually fade that out as well, something like that. Once I have all that down, we'll kind of just get rid of that for now. Just because it's actually easier to see what I'm trying to do. Then I'm going to take like a skin tone here, make it a little bit redder, a little bit darker, and a little more saturated, because where things are wet, it's more saturated. But the shirt is kind of opaque, and so that's taken away some of the otherwise it'd be, you know, when skin gets wet, like if I wanted to make this look wet, I would just make all this more saturated if there was like water on that part of the body. I want to take this color, make it a little more red, kind of show. I can't actually, no, this is YouTube, so I probably can't get too detailed with this. So I'm just going to kind of go, just kind of show a little bit right there. Then I can take this color and go lighter with it, much lighter, like this. And this is like where light is hitting it. So it's like a white shirt. And so now I'm not going into the shadows. Now I'm going into where it's going to be lit up with the sun's. The sun's really hitting it, and it's really bringing out the color. All the way across like that. Like so. Come all the way down like this. This is all where light's hitting. Kind of go around that shadow. Then it kind of comes up right here. Let me get rid of that. There we go. And kind of flow right into here like this. Boom, see? And then I'm going to, all right here, it's going to kind of fade like that. So imagine like these are that, and then like a little bit of wrinkle. And some of this is going to be lighter, so I'm going to just kind of go over it like that. That's how you lighten up your shadows. You can just take that color and just lightly hit it. And it lightens it up. It's kind of like a glaze. And I want all this to be even brighter. Right, because I want this to be really where the light is hitting. Remember, the light's hitting the right-hand side more than anything else. And then a little bit right there. These are like some wrinkles in the shirt. And this is where it's going to be hitting a lot more. You have to have some sort of block in, right? You got to start somewhere. And it starts, you know, kind of like this usually. I could have started with this really light color. Now that I think about it, I'm going to come right off like that. I want to kind of cover some of that up. Normally I wouldn't cover up as much, but it's YouTube, so I'm going to cover that up a little bit. Take this skin tone right here. Some of it will kind of brighten up, I think, just like that. There we go. Kind of fade it back and forth. Right here is going to be like, you know, the shirt's kind of lifting up a little bit right there. Let's kind of take this tone right here as well, kind of fade it into that darker tone. And kind of take this light and kind of lightly go over it like that, kind of fade up. Take the blur brush, not the blur brush, but and it kind of blurs. Kind of just make all this kind of soft, and then you come back in and add more details. I like to come with my blender brush and just kind of soften a lot of this up. And then as a final thing, we go back over it again and add. You could also just, you know, another way you could have done it is you could have just went in right away with the, I actually want a lot brighter skin over here because the light's hitting this more. But what we could have done is made the, I think we should have a little bit, hold on, I gotta think about this for a second. A little bit here. Take that color. Anyway, we could have painted the shirt as if it was just wrinkly and, you know, just kind of tight on her body, but without thinking about the skin yet. Just did the focus on the wrinkles and everything like that, and then came back in and go, okay, now where might, you know, skin tones be? Like where it's touching the skin, and then we could have went and added that to it. Add a little bit of warmer color there. And just like with the belly, how it started off, you know, rough and stuff, and we slowly started building up the detail. Same thing with this. So it starts off really, you know, rough like this, and then you can slowly build it up and add more and more detail as you go along. And a good way to kind of see you're in the right direction is you kind of zoom out a little bit. You're like, oh yeah, this is looking pretty cool. And then you gotta start thinking about these different tones here. So it's like take that tone, take a little more desaturated because it's kind of moving away. Like that. And yeah, from here it's really about detailing. Now you just gotta kind of add some details here and there. That's too bright. So there we go. I want it to be a little bit brighter there like that. And so what I'm doing here is blend that out just a little bit. If I don't see any skin there. You might be able to see a little bit of skin tones in here, like because it's kind of touching the skin there maybe. Just a little bit in here. I want to add some of that wrinkle back like this. You can also come in with thick brush, like a, you know, ink brush, and just kind of come in and add some detail like that, like you're really caking on the paint, you know. You can add some edges and stuff here and there, little details. I want to lighten this up some. Take a little bit lighter color here, just for part of it. And over here too, I kind of want to, maybe not that light. Let's take this color. There we go. about like that. I'm going to take this darker color and just kind of, just a little bit like this, and take this kind of, this white tone, almost pure white. Have that be like a wrinkle that comes down like this. This one comes up right here, comes all the way, connects right here, and kind of comes off like that and that way, and splits down like this. Oops, didn't mean to get that color. Need to get that color. There we go. I'm like, I have the button on my pen, so there's two buttons on my pen, and I use my thumb, and I just click the button to grab colors. So that's how I'm quickly just grabbing. I'm going like this, and it turns it to my, I have it set to my Alt key. And that basically allows me to quickly grab colors and mess with them. Maybe some wrinkles up in here. Another one right here. We can add some more. Take this and just kind of move it toward red. Look at that, boom, same color. Same. The only thing I did on the color wheel is I just moved it to a different color. That way it's the same tone. And yeah, just a little bit here. I think all this right here would be lighter. So just knock it back. Just grab a lighter color and just lightly go over it. Maybe just add a little bit of skin tone in there. And this is pretty much it. This is the thing. You just gotta, add a bunch of details until you feel like you've, got it to where you want it. And then, like I said, if AI can be a big help, it won't always get you what you want. If I put this in AI right now and told it wet shirt, it might not do that good of a job at understanding what I'm telling it. But it can get you a little bit further where you're going, save you a lot of time. You can just tell this part right here, tell it this is a wet shirt, and then it will kind of, or even just tell it that it's a shirt. It might not even know that there's skin there, but then you come back in and start painting in and adding the skin back in again. So it can save a lot of time because it can render a lot of these folds and stuff for you very quickly, because that can take a lot of work to get folds to look right. And it really just takes time. Like, for example, all this right here can come down like this. And then kind of lighten that up a little bit. Yep. So from a distance, you can see if it's reading. Like, that's how I can tell, like, if I'm heading the right direction. Just go really small. If you can kind of tell what it is and what's happening, then you're kind of heading in the right direction. It's like, okay, that's looking pretty cool. So I know I'm heading in the right direction. I want that to be a little bit gray like that. There we go. And we kind of fade into that. Yeah, basically when it reads from far away like that, then you know that it's working pretty good. And that all you have to do is just keep working at it, keep rendering it. Because basically by going far away, it shows you that, hey, you can't really see the details, right? You can't really see like that there's not as many details. And it kind of makes it look more like far, like, I don't know, it makes it look more detailed, even though it's not, like, because like from far away you can't see that many details. And so it kind of helps you see that, hey, if I continue rendering, if I just leave it as it is, I just continue rendering, it's going to look nice like that. Just lightening some of the skin here like that. Another thing you can do too is you can just like paint the naked breast on one layer, then paint the shirt all wrinkly on another layer, then kind of start erasing some of the shirt to show the skin underneath, and then continue to paint on top of that. That would have been a good idea also. Right, and then from there it's just, like I said, it's just about rendering, so it just takes time. Alright, that's first real done this time.